After its brakes failed in Colorado, I finally had my 1991 Dodge Caravan shipped back home and fixed. And before I sell this thing off, I had to do at least one video of my aging Chrysler products together. I had a hard time figuring out what I should do with them. Obviously, you can't do a comparison video or any kind of challenge since they're so different. So I decided to borrow a bit from my editor at autotrader.com/oversteer, Doug DeMuro, and earlier today I took them both to Carmax for an appraisal. As you probably know, Carmax will buy any car, anything, without you having to purchase a car from them. What you probably didn't know was my first job in the car business was at Carmax. Around 12 years ago, I worked there as a salesman at 19 years old when they opened their new location in Wichita, Kansas. Before I go over my appraisal results at my old employer, I'm going to briefly describe my various experiences with Carmax as their salesman and later as a customer. And as always, for more about what I'm discussing here, click that link below and read the column on autotrader.com/oversteer. So yeah, I was there for opening day at Carmax of Wichita over a decade ago. In the job interview, the manager literally did the whole Wolf of Wall Street, sell me this pin bit. I proceeded to take the pin apart, showing all of the quirks and features. Then I couldn't figure out how to put it back together. Despite making a complete idiot of myself, he hired me anyway. It took me 3 weeks before I sold my first car. The general manager of the store at the time insisted we have a practiced, memorized monologue for every customer as they enter the store, explaining the Carmax concept. The sad thing is I can still remember it to this day. The other hard part about introducing a Carmax concept back then was the idea of haggling. This was a very foreign concept for car sales back then and made quite a few people frustrated. Obviously the concept caught on and it's been very successful, but I didn't last at Carmax very long. They hired lots of salesmen for the new store opening and there weren't enough customers to keep us all busy. Salesmen would line up at the door and wait for people. I remember working a full shift and only getting a couple of customers that entire day. So after a few months, I quit and eventually ended up at a locally owned Chevrolet, Cadillac, and BMW store. Odd combo, I know. The biggest difference was the money. I made $1,500 on my first sale of a Chevy pickup, whereas the most I ever made at Carmax was $300. There was a lot less structure at this dealership as well, but that came with its downsides. Carmax is excellent at maintaining a very reputable business environment for its customers and employees. It really is a stand-up organization. And as you probably already know, that's not always the case for some car dealers. But even though I no longer work there, I still stop by a few times over the years to get car appraisals. My first appraisal was with a 2004 Mercedes E500 wagon that I bought back in 2009. I got it for only $19,000, a really good deal at the time. And typical me, after 6 months, I started to get bored with it. I thought Carmax would offer close to what I paid for it since I got it so tremendously cheap, and it was a good car for their inventory. Turns out it wasn't. It had been in a minor fender bender before I purchased it, and the fender was replaced. Now remember, Carmax doesn't stock their inventory with wrecked cars, so they offered only $14,000. Way below any wholesale comps because they were just going to try and make a buck dumping it at auction. I ended up selling it for $22,000 about a month later. So you might think I'm crazy to go back for another round, but when I got bored with my 2012 Volkswagen GTI that I purchased new for $21,000, I took it to Carmax for an appraisal. They offered me $18,000, which was $2,000 more than the local VW dealer and only $3,000 less than what I bought it for new. I jumped at that great offer, signed the title over to them, and immediately got a check. It was a fantastic experience. So if you have a car that Carmax actually wants for their inventory, they should offer a very good price. Now, they don't stock anything much over 10 years old or 130,000 miles. So you can take a guess how things went with my 1991 Dodge Caravan and my 1983 Chrysler LeBaron. Let's make a little game out of it this time. I want you to scroll down to the comments section right now and type your guess. Then post it so the world can see if you're as smart as an expert buyer. Go ahead. Have you scrolled down yet? Seriously, people, quit staring at me. It's creepy. I can wait. Chrysler. Wood. You better knock, knock, knock. You better knock on wood, baby. Woo! Now the moment of truth. And I will start with the rusty, crusty LeBaron. The Carmax buyer seemed to be startled by the talking Chrysler system during her thorough inspection and test drive. After it was all done, she came back with an offer of $500. Honestly, I thought it would be less. That's actually a really fair offer for this piece of junk. I mean, it's just a bucket of bolts and rust and marine-grade faux teak. The minivan is in much better condition, with 51,000 original miles, so they should offer a lot more money, right? Well, not so much. They came back with an offer of $600. Meaning, according to Carmax, I was better off leaving this thing in Colorado and setting it on fire rather than shipping it back home and repairing it. Really, though, it's just not something they would inventory, obviously. And they had to be really conservative on the bid because there aren't any wholesale comps for a van like this. I suspect I'll be able to get at least $3,000 for this thing when I finally get around to listing it. I hope. $600 is what I paid for the off-road tires. I have like $5,000 into this thing. I am so stupid. I am so stupid. That'll do it for the news, and for all of us at Action News Center 4, I'm Ron Burgundy. You stay classy, San Diego. Rally fogs did not add value according to the Carmax appraisal. And the Chrysler EVA system did not add value to the Carmax appraisal. Wood paneling did not add value to the Carmax appraisal. The fine Corinthian leather didn't add any value. The rear-mounted porta potty didn't add any value. They're out of their minds. They must be crazy.